Hello there. I might call this something like how dream character identification locks you into the dream. And what do I mean by that? Basically, it's when you lose lucidity, you lose the awareness of your actual self within the dream, which has the power to control it. And so how can you actually remember to do this? Because it is about memory and intention. I'd say the only place that you can do it is in real life until it becomes habitual. So then there's one emotion, isn't there, that it can possess you so quick that you don't have time to put some kind of a practice into place, because that emotion's already happened. Of course, that would be anger. And in the past, I have had quite explosive anger problems from when I was very young. And basically what seemed to trigger it mostly throughout as I was growing up was around friendship and betrayal and a kind of a mocking. Even to this day, I try and find a way to eventually put a friendship at distance. It's only very lucky that I still maintain some work friends and friends from the past. Well, we've kind of had to go our separate ways because I've kind of been a bit of a traveller at heart. But as you might know, in a dream, if you become lucid, you can ask the monsters what part of your mind they represent, and often they'll be like the shadow side, and you can ask them how to individuate. So I've got to the part where I've been able to control the dream and fly away from the monsters, or I've controlled the dream and I've changed the monsters into something very amicable. But I haven't yet got to the point where I've remembered to actually ask them, what do you represent? And with this knowledge, how can I individuate? But I am getting lucid dreams quite regularly now, about once a week, and that's from following the advice from the Lucid Living Guide and also just tutorials from Stephen LaBerge and Robert Wagner. So, but I'm wondering about like how to keep calm and carry on, literally, you know, when you're in the midst of something that makes you really angry. I'd say that's how we naturally dehumanize people in comparison to our own character. And yes, you can try and make that dehumanization more general as a way to kind of ease into stop doing it, you know, like instead of labeling somebody with a certain culture that, for instance, doesn't respect women as much or whatever it is, and instead of saying, oh, those bloomin' whatnots, whoever they might be, it's like just round it all off, make it more general, and say those bloomin' normies, those bloomin' NPCs, because, you know, you travel around the world and literally, because 80% of people anywhere are most likely normies or NPCs, then you're seeing the negative stereotype emphasised. It just goes to whatever is the set normie NPC stereotype for that area. But does it make it any better? No. So I think it takes a philosophy to have in your mind as you become angry, and just to remind yourself. And I even do a little mantra in my mind which kind of blocks out any thoughts that would just take me to even greater levels of anger, and that is different settings of consciousness and goodness, created to be a teacher or to learn from a harder place, manipulated by God to test the patience, manipulated by evil to have us despise us, overcome with awareness. So whether the consciousness, that which created the universe to begin with, or whether its survival is intrinsically linked to creativity and goodness, as it seems to reflect in the frontal lobe of the human mind, you know, as above, so below. So it could be, you know, the frontal lobe of the human mind is is related to creativity and empathy and sympathy. So if that's where, opposing the force of destruction to creation, if creation is that which it's intrinsically related to creativity and joy and goodness, then maybe it needs this kind of contrast, so to speak, to eternally expand, eternally have something to create for against all the problems. Which is why I think, that evil kind of needs to exist, at least for its own survival. So sometimes, I do have to do all these jumps and leaps just to kind of to justify how it might have to exist, not because I want it to exist, but I just want I want some kind of acceptance of these things in life, that's not on a par with the word toleration, but just to find meaning in these things. So that's what I use.